Hello, my friend, and welcome to TFU News and Views, brought to you by TFU.info. I am your host, Anthony Brucalian. Today was Hasbro Toy Fair, the Hasbro fan event at New York Toy Fair, and just got back a couple of hours ago, had some things to take care of, and now we are going to talk just a little bit about what went on. There were a handful of reveals, a lot of stuff spoiled by leaks, but there's a lot of news to go over, and I'm not going to go over all of it in any depth here. What I'm going to do is just give you a brief rundown. We saw a studio series for the movie line. We saw the remainder of Power of the Primes for the most part, including Titan-class Predaking, including Abominus, including Elita 1, and including some new Prime Masters. We saw Wave 2 of Studio Series, which was, at least in the deluxe class, was Jazz and Lockdown. We also saw a Brawl and a Blackout, and I believe those are Voyager class, but I might be wrong. I have to go back. There was a lot of stuff to take in today. We saw Cyberverse up close. We saw a clip from the test animation for Cyberverse. And more importantly, we got to chat with Ben Montano and John Warden from the Hasbro Transformers team. Ben being the marketing lead and John being the design lead. And what we're going to hear in today's episode is the interview at the end of the day from Toy Fair. It's about a half hour long. I am not editing for content, though I will be editing for noise and just anything that seems to eat up too much time. But as far as their words, I am not editing at all. And that will pretty much be the whole show today. I will be back to break down a lot of what they said and analyze it, but I want to get this interview out to you, my listeners and Transformers fans around the world, because I want you to hear what I heard and make your own conclusions and draw your own judgments. So without further ado, here are Ben Montano and John Warden from the Transformers team being interviewed by myself, someone from Sabertron.com. I do not know his name. BWTF Ben was there from BWTF.net. Diecast from Radio Free Cybertron was there. Kevin from Unicron.com. Monzo from TF Wiki. And a couple other folks that I just do not know. So with that said, here is the interview.
So with the NPM line, I saw it's great. There's a barricade now. Are you guys going to do more villains?
So the question was, in the NPM line, he thinks it's great, are we going to do more villains?
Would you like more villains? And who would you like?
Absolutely.
Okay. NPM 1 different collection doesn't count? The original NPM 1 not count?
That is a good question.
Just add.
Okay. It's been a while.
Has been a while.
Yeah. For issue and you're definitely way higher in the secondary market.
That is true.
So many issues of Starscream, Megatron.
Cool.
Yeah, Starscream NPM1 also wouldn't fit in stylistically with the current direction. Like the over complication and the greebles and everything. It would be interesting to see and very nice to get a more screen accurate, detailed version of the figure. Megatron, Brawl.
It's kind of like MP1 in comparison to
MP10, exactly.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Fair.
Right.
Yeah,
Fair.
we would love to do that. I think we have some other Masterpiece figures to talk about later this year, and I think hopefully I've heard most people say it's hard to get the ones that came out last year, which is good. It means people are buying them. So, yeah, we'd like to continue the collection, and we have to balance out the factions for sure.
Yeah, I think it's Ben said it best. We got similar questions last year about Movie Masterpiece, and our answer was similar. We said that, if you like this line, let's make it a success, and we can continue to build on that success. And I think we all, as Transformers fans, at least fans of the movie verse, know what villains would be needed, and I think the matter is how will we best represent them within this line? If it makes sense, a scale, screen accurate version of villains makes sense. Yes.
Can you talk about how you view the movie masterpiece line versus the studio series, and how character selection in one might affect the other, and vice versa, or how they're completely unrelated? What do you think?
Yeah. Character selection completely unrelated. I think, I think in pursuing them, I mean, the idea is both of them are intended to be screen accurate as possible, but obviously there's gives and takes in the studio series line as we get down in the scale. And the idea with studio series is we want that to be as accessible to everyone around the world as possible, and to create as deep a character roster universe as we can. I think there's 120, 30 plus figures that you can tell who they are in the film universe. So obviously with the MPM line, we won't go that deep. So we're going to be a little more selective of who we do. But I think in studio series, we love to bring as many as possible to the line over the next foreseeable future.
Speaking of,
to build on that, part of the drive of Studio Series 2 is to incorporate a new generation of fans as well. Kids whose Transformers they grew up with were, the 2007 the Transformers film. Those kids are now young adults, and it's part of the reason why there's a numbering system there. And we think it's an opportunity for our Transformers fan community to grow. So we wanted to make sure that the prices were correctly set so that young fan could start a new collection, much like we've started to.
And I think, obviously, Takara told me, he did the movie The Best Line, over the last 12 to 18 months. I think for us, it's really important with Studio Series to start fresh. All new tools. That's what we did with the line. I know there's a lot of confusion amongst the fan universe about this line. They look like they're reuses of the Last Night toy. Not the case. There may be some similar conversion mechanics. But, we wanted to start fresh, and a lot of us hit the scale-accurate play. And I think we're having a lot of fun as we look at that line down the road. We weren't ready to show 19 yet, like Star Wars team.
Speaking of studio series, how is that affected? It's an April release. Was that always planned as an April release, with the Bumblebee movie being shifted from a May release date to a December release date? And how did that affect the studio line and plans for the Bumblebee toys?
So it was planned to be an April release date, and when the movie shifted, we made the decision to hold the date. We just thought, why keep a product from our consumers and our fans for any specific reason. Now, what we did do is we shifted a few characters around.
We did.
And similar to what you saw from some of the other brands here, that they can't show you wave 2 character of this, a wave 3 character of this. You'll see that come as we get further into this collection. But I think for us, we wanted to make sure the line was done, the product looks great. We wanted to not hold it out and get it out there. We didn't think you guys needed a film to go buy awesome product.
So will the movie line be incorporated into the studio series?
So you're going to be the official one to have the answer from us directly. Yes, that the fan movie product for the Bumblebee film will be found within the studio series collection.
And within the numbered Studio Series collection.
Great.
Yep.
Paul,
finally, clarity.
Not to put you on the spot.
Sure. Mentioned that they're all new tools for the studio series, but then there was kind of that exclusive, that Thundercracker. Are they going to?
So fair. So yes. So
partially not trying to.
Yeah. You caught me.
Well, that was not
you are
a character
correct.
that was actually in the film, so
yeah.
Studio series can be kind of a catch-all for anything movie related.
I would say no. It is not a catch-all. I think the inclusion of there's like Thundercracker, and there was another character that had some bits of tooling.
Yeah, I think but
it's
GMC,
it's more the exception.
So there's a couple
that
are
the rule.
100%. So I think most of the product totally new. But you're right, Thundercracker. I think what we did is there's a lot of opportunities within the past 5 films, and that characters that you guys have seen concept art, characters that didn't make the film or iterations of them. We did a lot of Thundercracker product around movie 3. He was, just kind of rampant through that line. So I'll say there's liberties taken, but as we do them, we want to make sure that they would fit within the style look of what you would have expected should that character have made it in. So there could be opportunities down the road to use some of the concept art from characters that we didn't see in any of the films to be part of the Studio Series collection. So I wouldn't consider it a catch-all per se, but it's a wide net within the theatrical universe.
It has to fit by a couple of laws that we've established within Studio Series. Like, it has to be scale accurate in robot mode to the other characters. There has to be a purpose for it on a collector's shelf, and it's not. I think it would never be something where we're shoehorning ideas under the umbrella of Studio Series. You'll see by the numbering system that we're being pretty choosy and cautious about what we're doing, and we're starting to build stories within. So you'll see the two characters that take place in the forest battle, for example, so that when you get those two characters, you can put the backdrops together, pose them out together, take a photo of them or whatever. You'll see the characters from the original debut alleyway scene or the Hong Kong Pursuit group and things like that. So but we're staggering them out so that as you're collecting, we're staggering the number system too, so that as you start to collect them, you're filling in blanks throughout the course of the night.
Can you tell us more about the future of Generations? The end. When is Power of the Primes officially ending? When is War for Cybertron come out? What can we expect as far as that goes?
Yeah, I mean, Power of the Primes product line will sunset this year, 18. And our intention is for the new Generations War for Cybertron Trilogy line. First chapter not yet revealed, so give you guys some fun speculating what the names of those may be down the road, but intended to hit roughly around January, so give or take a month or two. I think you guys saw Power of the Primes came out a little earlier than we had originally said. So that is the plan. I know I talked to some of you guys downstairs. Power of the Primes may seem not as heavy, but it was definitely front heavy with the knowledge that we're transition into the next plan. So I think a lot of the other lines, or the first two, 18 months long, right? So you saw heavier, maybe wave 5, wave 6, with a lighter wave 4. I think you'll see just the confidence that the next chapter we're going to come at you hard with it.
Can you comment on the trilogy idea, why you're structuring it as trilogies, why after this trilogy you decided to do another one?
Well, I think in a lot of ways the trilogy helps start to invite new fans into our franchise. And I'm not just talking about kids, I'm talking about casual fans, fans that maybe just like action figures or just are intrigued by our design theory in general. By doing a trilogy, it invites you to understand what that next chapter is. I think there's some speculation online that the saying trilogy means ecosystem. That is not the case. This is the idea is we're building a storytelling universe. That part of it is going to be told through toy, and there's going to be pieces told through partners that we have yet to discuss at a later date. And I think it fits a model that I think a lot of Hasbro is using right now, where we're really building storytelling through play, and we are trying to begin a new chapter in Transformers, but also give fans an opportunity to, if they've been on the journey with us for the Prime Wars trilogy, that's your Prime Wars trilogy case. This is time to start a new case. So I think that's Hasbro coming out and saying.
And if you need 2 cases, that's fine by us.
Yeah, or 3.
Yeah, whatever. We're okay with that.
Yeah, you need a Studio Series.
We're going to start selling cases, yeah.
How many price? 5 or 6 waves? 40 waves? How many waves?
It varies by scale. I think 4 is as deep as we go.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
there will be, and I know I'll throw this out now because some people asked downstairs. There are there's some exclusive items across the line we have yet to announce. So
that's right.
So the entire Power of the Primes chapter isn't closed completely. Hopefully, we'll surprise you with a few things still.
That's right.
Can you talk about the relationship with Takara? It was really great having them out here. That was pretty neat. And awesome. How the product is becoming streamlined across the two companies?
Yeah. It's been a lot of fun. I think I've had the privilege of working with John and the Takara team now for about 5 years. And we've always had a vision for this brand to give fans the ultimate Transformers toy experience. And I think what we found is that the closer we get, the more we collaborate, and the more we find the way they convert, the right look and style that satisfies fans around the world, the better we'll all be. And allows us to then focus on doing more. I think we can go deeper in our Generations lines. We can do things like Masterpiece Movie on top of Takara Tomi's continued Masterpiece line. I think we meet with them several times a year, either in Japan or here, and it is all about co-creation, creating one line together that we know everybody loves. And I think the more, again, we can bring all of our fans together and not create kind of these disparate factions of fandom in the Transformers universe, we feel we're going to have a more powerful, property long term. So it's been great. I think having them here was fantastic. We're really excited about that. Proud to have them here to be able to put their logo mark next to our logo mark on our products, and you will see, as you're starting to see already in Japan, the same product. I would expect that to continue. I think it also, and it elevates the game of all of us. We're all in it, right? So I think as you see, hopefully you look at Power of the Primes line and the Studio Series, you see just overall the lines are really getting elevated in the intricacies and some of the things that John did even on the last night premiere edition line. You get a lot of these little Easter eggs in play. The more we work together with Takara, the more we do things like that.
Yeah, it's also building off Takara's passion as well. And since I've been on the brand, we're partnering with them on a very grassroots level, and it's exciting to we'll go out and have dinner and some beers, and we'll listen to them, and they'll listen to us, and it's great. It's a great Transformers family, and I think it's exciting to be able to bring them all up on stage, and you could see their smiles and everything. We're very genuine. We're one big family, and it's very great to be a part of that.
I was supposed to say something in Japanese too at the beginning of that presentation, and I completely forgot to say it, and I felt so bad afterwards, and I apologize.
You bow your head in shame, basically.
Yokoso arigato. So I got to say it now. It's on record. I'll play this back to them. I said it.
There you go.
Is there any plans to move away from stickers as they, or maybe be
You're
a
the
little
sticker
bit
guy online.
more careful about where they're placed?
We hear the concern about the stickers loud and clear. I can say with confidence that the stickers will continue through the Prime Wars trilogy because it's become part of the design aesthetic of the characters, and I think it would be inconsistent and unusual to stop that, not to mention the fact that the lion's share of the figures are developed already. But as we look forward to the next chapter, I'd like to say, we're listening to the fans, and we are approaching the aesthetic of that new piece of Transformers, the Transformers universe, with a different brush. And I'm excited to share more, but I can't talk any more about it. Other than there's a gritty realism to it that is an interesting edge that I think is going to be both interesting and refreshing to fans.
And I think Power of the Primes it had a little bit kind of old throwbacks, right, and kind of nods to, and with the stickers and stuff, it felt kind of like the the toys from the 80s.
Toyish.
I think what's important for War for Cybertron is it's not going to be old. It's going to be new. It's a new take on things, and I think that it's, again, as John talks about the design principles, there's new principles to how we're approaching this, even though it'll be a story that may be familiar, it's untold, and gives us a lot of opportunity to do the product differently.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if this was asked already. I got here later. Did anyone ask about Masterpiece continuing beyond the MPMs?
Yeah, we said that as our intention, and your buddy left, but there's an ask for more Decepticons, so I think we'll hopefully
more
we'll have
Masterpiece
more to share with you guys down
Decepticons.
the road.
Yes.
And the follow-up to that, does Toys R Us's current business predicament, we'll call it, affect them carrying the exclusives, any exclusives, not just one?
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing I can say specifically on that. I think hopefully you guys see Toys R Us continues to be a good partner of ours, solid listings, deep listings. I would expect that to continue. Obviously, Thundercracker, we have another exclusive with them coming out this year, so our brand and company's having success with them. Expect that to continue.
Going back to some of the things in the panel, the fan vote. What inspired the character choices? I feel like there's a bit of IDW in there. And tagging off of that, what is the relationship with Hasbro and IDW going forward, 2018, 2019?
I'll let Ben handle the relationship on IDW question specifically.
Thank you, John.
No problem. But with regards to those character pairings, I think it's important to clarify that the hashtags associated with those, that fans would be voting on a pair, so you cannot dissect the pair. So, for example, Impactor and Mirage, you'd be voting for both Impactor and Mirage. So you cannot get Impactor without Mirage, and vice versa. So the pairings, I think, are inspired partly by some of the gritty storytelling of IDW, but it's also elements of our toy line that we think could. I don't want to speak too much, but I think that each one of those could fill in blanks in different ways. When I looked at the entire toy line with Ben, there's some blank spots, and those guys fill interesting blank spots. And I think giving fans the opportunity to kind of organically not just play with those toys, but also potentially hear that interesting vignette and that type of battleground story is an interesting new take on this fandom. And we think that it could be something cool.
And I think
no, I was gonna say with the IDW relationship thing.
Yeah,
moving
before
forward.
that, I think for us, some of it was pair characters where there's characters that have love-hate in the fan universe.
Oh,
some
totally.
Some
That's a
characters
big
that
piece.
were a fan, you guys may know one and not give a crap about the other, right? I mean, intentionally, we wanted to create these groupings where
There's conversations.
You guys are torn. You have something to talk about in your podcast too, like what would you do, and that you are conflicted, right? That honestly was how and why we paired some of them with then interesting backstories like brother versus brother things that also give us a lot of fertile storytelling. So it was very, very specific. So IDW, yeah, I think we'll be wrapping up the current continuities this year. Unicron's going to come and just devour everybody. But the intention is to continue going forward. We have a great relationship with that whole writing team there. We are in discussions with them on what comes next. I would suspect that probably towards the end of this year, as they wind down this continuity, they'll have more to share specifically on that. But I can say with confidence expect that they will continue to help us elaborate and tell our stories. From what angle, that's still to be determined. But I think there's a lot to pick from.
Will those pairs have a shared gimmick or something that connects them outside of just being from a story perspective, being compelling?
Like dual cons or something weird like
yeah,
that?
I don't know.
No, I can say with
nothing so extreme, but just
Are they new molds or are they retools of old molds?
That sort of remains to be seen.
New molds. So I would say the War for Cybertron line is, I won't say 100%, but you're going to have just about the entire line will start new. So these characters, while they may be shared within other characters in the main line, as you guys see us do sometimes, I wouldn't suspect that they would be used from prior.
It's definitely too soon to tell, but I think it's our intention to try to do a good representation of those characters. And when more is revealed about the nature of War for Cybertron, I think it'll become more clear how those characters will be executed. For now, we're mostly asking fans to just strictly from character and toy, which pairing do you think is compelling? And Ben said it best. We deliberately put in like a G1 Autobot character with a marginally popular Decepticon character or underground character like Impactor, just to kind of get that conversation going, so that it invites hardcore fans to have a discussion, but also doesn't, a person who just maybe knows the core Autobot team, or hey, I had a Wheeljack figure when I was a kid, feels invited to come in and be part of that conversation, and honestly be part of the future of Transformers.
So the Mirage and the Wheeljack wouldn't be Combiner Wars retooled; they would be new molds.
Absolutely
from War for
Correct.
Cybertron molds.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a question I've been discussing with fans, and I'm hoping you guys can help me. It might be an engineering term, it might be a marketing term. What do you call nowadays a figure that... the example I can think of is Hot Rod from the last night, where clearly he shares some design thinking with Lockdown, but when you made Lockdown, clearly you weren't thinking of making Hot Rod, and the two figures are different sizes. So it's not a traditional swap out the head retool. What is that called other than a retool?
Called a partial tool.
Partial tool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, and you'll see, actually, Titan's Return toy line is a great example of partial tool. You saw a lot of those characters, like Scourge and
Windblade.
Scourge and... No, it's fine. Scourge and I can't. Highbrow shared some pieces, and the reason why we're doing that is to just offer a greater variety. As we move through the Prime Wars trilogy, we're smarter about thinking about the entire year's toy line and how we're going to do it, and provide the best version of that character for the fan.
And it's different than the old days where you had to like take the existing figure and like kind of do a mock-up or print a head or something. Now you can just do it all on the computer beforehand, can't you?
Well, it's not quite that simple, but yeah, there's a good deal of model making involved and a good deal of planning, and I mean, and that's where the U.S. team will work with Takara early on to kind of figure out the plan, the strategic plan. You know, we're well into figuring out War for Cybertron, so there's a lot of that happens ahead of time. So we're not ever designing these figures in a bubble. We're trying to think about how could this character be the best version of that character, but also potentially open doors for us for other characters in the future.
Has the recent announcement about the changes with the movie plans changed the toy line plans for you guys at all? The cancellation of the series, I guess.
Yeah.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so the question is the recent, I guess the points that Brian made about the reboot of the film franchise coming off of Bumblebee. For sure, I think our team is always working closely with Paramount, all of our story writers, whether it's been Machinima on the next chapter, and then the next product line associated with that. No decision to move something like a film is made independently from a film partner, so we're always part of those conversations to say what's next, what's best, and when should we deliver the next best thing. Our attention right now is focused on Bumblebee. And I think the film's come along great. We've seen a lot of the footage, the cuts, the takes. The toy line looks fantastic. I think there's a lot of directions we could take post that. We have a lot of toy concepts we're working on. Nothing stops us. I think you guys saw it downstairs, right? We got Cyberverse cranking. That's coming out soon. Studio series. We have the Bumblebee film line, Generations new trilogy announced. But yeah, any shift we have to deal with it and either pause or just charge head on. This is one where we're going to collectively pause, solve for what the next best story is, and then put a line around that. But in no way does it distract us.
It sounded like in his comments that Hasbro will have a little more creative control over some of the. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, awesome.
For you guys to be more involved.
Good. Yeah, I think the Bumblebee film is going to be. I think hopefully you all go this Christmas, and I think show what we can do collectively with Paramount and Travis Knight and the team over there.
Are you guys having are there any bets raised with the Star Wars team?
What's it?
The movie's going to be?
So they're very different films. So I think what we're aiming for is all audience bringing, parents bringing their kids to the film, and I think if we do that, we succeed. So.
Yeah, I can't say Travis. Travis is he would watch G1 like I did growing up, and I met with him, and I got the impression that he truly has heart for the Transformers, the fact that they're robots in disguise, and I think fans are going to have a very different kind of experience. And I know that sounds like a soundbite, but I really I'm excited by what he brings to the table.
Can we talk a little bit about Cyberverse?
Yeah.
Two things. One that comes to mind is the very hard G1 inspiration.
Yeah. You saw it? You noticed that?
Yeah. What was the reasoning behind that instead of saying continuing behind the Robots in Disguise 2015 aesthetic? And then second to that, female Decepticon. We don't normally see a lot of those. Will that concept make its way into other parts of the brand as well?
Ooh. That concept? Yeah, I hope so. I don't see why not. I mean, there's no reason we deliberately choose not to. But yeah, and that was fun to bring Shadow Striker into the series. The aesthetic, it was definitely intentional for us. A big part of what we want to continue to do with this brand is engage all generations. And I think what you guys see it within, the people you hang out with is an often fragmented fan universe for Transformers. You're a fan of a G1 or Beast Wars or a movie. I think our goal is to unify the brand. You see us unifying our product line with Takara Tomy. Next, the more we can unify the brand and really create those synergies between, different generations. To bring a millennial and a 30, 40, 50-year-old parent and their kid together. A lot of ways to do that is through familiarities, right? So a parent now with a 6-7-year-old kid that watches Cyberverse, we believe, will see aesthetics that are similar to what the toys their parents grew up with, and open up that dialogue and help really kind of breed that co-viewership and enjoyment for it. I will say it is not a G1 story. It is a fresh new story that does not start back in 1984. It's a modern story. So I think that alone is going to, once you start to see the story and the episodes come out, you're going to see, oh wow, it's not, what I remember from there. But we wanted those looks and styles to, again, start to bring that kind of comfort back and a little bit of nostalgia nod too.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yes, no? I know it's business speak, but that truly is what we did.
No, I think it's exciting. When you look at our fan community, there's a lot of families, and bringing families together through play is something that Hasbro is known to do around the world, and it's exciting to try to do that in our brand as well. We met with lots of fans, and I think that they're as excited to share their love of Transformers with their kids or nieces or nephews, and I think Cyberverse gives us an opportunity to bridge those generations, which is cool. That doesn't say that our product lines like Power of the Primes or Work for Cybertron in the future won't ever stop being, hard to transform or anything like that. We're just trying to appeal to a great spectrum of fans.
I think you'll see the vehicle modes too are a little more Cybertron or future. So while the robots may harken back to G1, we kind of
updated
push the vehicle size a little bit. Who hasn't got a question yet?
Is Authentics going to continue beyond the 4 that are out now?
Yeah, so Authentics, we would like to continue those two offerings, the Alpha and Bravo products. Again, the idea behind those, I know there's a lot of confusion on where do those fall in the spectrum of our universe. They're not tied to any specific story. They're meant to kind of be our evergreen, just a classic character. If you want an Optimus and it's your first time you've ever had one, or grandma's buying one and has no idea. My grandkid said buy a Transformer. It's just that easy connection. It feels appropriate for the brand. I think that's the intention of those.
Well, I think it's a great idea because previously the discounters were just getting either redecoed older product or the Creo sets, and now they're getting original figures, which excites some fans, not just the casual shoppers as well. So I'm happy to hear they're going to keep going.
One last question.
Yep.
G2 Devastator, please. Please.
Next question.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, exclusives. Yeah, so Matt, we'll have more exclusives this year. We've only announced one, Thundercracker, so expect more exclusives this year in the Generations line, film lines, and Cyberverse. So a little bit of everything. So do you have a question? You haven't gotten one yet.
I'm not sure if I got covered, but you mentioned 4 waves for Power of the Primes.
Yeah.
Does that extend to the leader class?
It does not extend to the leader class. I know they're telling us to stop. Kevin, if you have one question, since you haven't gotten one, make it count. Everybody's like, what?
I'm enjoying all their questions.
You're good?
Kevin just wants to know if you're going to do a Unicron. That's all he wants.
It may matter to him. Do I get one question?
One more.
Do I get one question then?
You get one question.
I'll ask one question. Did you have a question?
Well, I mean, you know the answer already, but Unicron, for the love of God.
Okay, so on that, he said it, crowdfunded Unicron. Is that legit? Would you guys want to see that from us?
Yeah. Not at $500.
I wanted it
So
at
you want it this
$500. No, I wanted it at $500.
Okay,
Well,
ready?
I'm speaking for myself.
Tell me how much you're willing to pay. What's
I think
this
3
is Price is Right. You ever
caps
played
out.
Price is Right?
There you go.
We're doing
Brain
Price is
trust.
Right. Price is Right.
Stop at the G on Range Rover every time.
So you guys,
Look, it has to be an orb.
So this is a takeover. We're going to
3
get kicked
feet
out
tall?
of the
Is it more important to have
Talk
him
about it.
this big?
Well, we don't have the time yet. We're going to yell it here.
Okay.
So, great. Leave here. You know what we're doing. Point everyone to HasLab. Talk about it.
Absolutely.
Share it back. We read your stuff. We listen to as many podcasts as we can. The 9-hour ones, I don't listen to. So I already talked about that. So anything under an hour, I'll listen to. If you want to tag things and say, hey, brand team, watch this 20 minutes, I'll read that. Or I'll listen to that podcast. I can't do the 9-hour ones. But let us know. So we listen to you guys. Hopefully you guys see from what you're seeing today, this week, that we do listen to you guys. We appreciate your points of view.
Try to get something trending. Like, that's the type of stuff that'll help us. Awesome. Thanks.
Make
Thanks.
Unicron happen.
Hashtag
Hashtag-
Unicron.
And so that will wrap things up for this edition of TFU News and Views. Please do not forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel, which now you can get to with the very, very easy and handy URL, www.youtube.com/TFU.info, TFU.info. And that'll take you straight to the YouTube channel. Thank you all for getting us over the 100 subscriber mark. And we're going to keep going to get to that 1,000 and to get even further with some other projects we have here at TFU.info. Of course, if you'd like to help the show, swing on by to TFU.info/help. And you can see what's missing from the website. And if you'd just like to help the show out, please use our Amazon links, TFU.info/Amazon. Anything you then buy on Amazon will send some money back our way. Lots more to talk about with the news from Toy Fair. Lots more to talk about based just off of this interview. And we'll get to that. We've got a lot of shows planned just off of this. And of course, Transformers University will be back real soon. There's some bit of work going into the next episode. So I apologize for the delay. And Toy Fair's a big hiccup in that. But there is more coming. So, until next time, see ya.